Can I just ask you about James and what you saw? I mean, it looks like he played a pretty good game against Rutgers. What did you see from him leading into that and during the game that allowed that kind of performance?
Oh, I mean, it starts with just his week of practice. Like his preparation that entire week mentally, from film study to practice to all the little things he did to kind of tweak his routine, was how he played was a direct result of that. You know, so I told him, I said, and all the guys, prepare like it matches how you expect to play this Saturday. And so that was him. That was all him. He had a great game.
I wanted to ask you about locks, just with your, what you're doing with your association, and just, nobody could ever claim that Locks isn't trying to do his part for, minority candidates and then putting minorities on his staff. He's made it very clear, my coordinators will be minority candidates. Just your thoughts on just him trying to, do his part.
Oh man, I think it's awesome. Like, it's just any time, whether it's minority, whether it's white, black,
sure,
whatever it may be, anybody that's in a position that's underrepresented,
right?
When you see people that want to step up and try to help, I think that's big time. So I mean, it could be minorities in positions of leadership. It could be anybody that's just trying to climb a ladder that's a little bit higher than where they are. And again, that could be any ethnicity. But when you look at the things Coach Loxley has done, it's I think it's second to none. Just some of the efforts he's put out there and some of the things he's been able to accomplish.
More about James. How do you see James grow from early in the season to now where he's at this point?
I think the biggest thing with him is he just continued to just stay consistent with his routine, try to find areas where his routine could improve. He's a football junkie now. Like he's constantly watching tape. He gets here before me most mornings. I get here pretty early. So just his preparation is a direct result of what you see. And he saw an opportunity last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, to go out there and step in a role that he knew we needed him, and he did a great job.
Can I ask you particularly about Jack Paris? I mean, we got in a little bit on Thursday and saw a pretty big play from him
yeah.
at the end. What have you seen from him this year, and what do we need to know about Jack?
Man, again, just growth, man. Like, he's so fun to coach. He's so fun to coach. I don't know if I've ever seen him have a bad day. He comes in here with a smile every day. He's eager to learn. All those older guys, Rosie, Malachi, Cruzy, he stays glued to their hip. Any little nugget he can get from them, he's trying to eat it up, and he just wants to be better. He just wants to be better. He wants to be a great teammate. So the glimpse of what you saw, again, is a direct result of just kind of how he lives his life every day.
Can you remind me of your process to find him? I know he was late
yep.
for you guys.
Yes, he was very late. So, I mean, he's a guy that had come up for some game visits. We had a chance to meet, kind of just watched him throughout the course of his senior year. And then coincidentally, kind of right there at the end, a number opened up that we weren't sure if we weren't going to have. And he's a guy that had been on our radar. And so it was easy. It was really, we knew exactly who we wanted to go after.
I know there.
What's been the dynamic in the room? It seems like you've got maybe one vet for every one young guy. I mean, can you match them up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's when you think about, I think kind of all of those younger guys kind of naturally navigate to Rosie. They kind of naturally navigate to Cruzy. A lot of them naturally kind of navigate to Malachi. I think they all kind of just navigate to guys who kind of had a chance to do some things they aspire to do. And so that's been the cool part, because like you said, we got such a good mixture. I mean, some days you can see Jack Paris walking down the hallway and he'll just grab the first old guy he sees. You know what I mean? With just because that's what we ran into first. So that's been fun to watch.
I mean, Alex, what's the dynamic like between the vets and the young guys? How have you seen that?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely big brother, little brother. They're extremely close. Those guys do a lot of things together. They're always grilling out, doing stuff like that. It's the dynamic in regard to the relationship and the bond in that room is really, really unique. It's probably the closest room I've ever had. And that's all because of those guys and just their approach and how they go about their business.
When you have, I know you sometimes only have one guy out there in your group, but when you have multiple guys, do you have to kind of contemplate, okay, Rosie works out well with Malachi, or Rosie works out well with Kreutz, or do you just put the two best guys out there and let them figure it out?
No, I think there's definitely a dynamic of who complements who better,
yeah,
and more so depending upon the situation.
Okay.
Any of them can go out there and function. All of them play well together, but when you look at things situationally, there's always a combination of one or two that might be better for that situation. And so those are the things I try to sort out in my mind throughout the course of the week, sometimes throughout the course of the game, depending upon how it's going.
I know.